Money in the way for what they got to say. I throw it up, it's falling down, it's definitely in the way.
Welcome back, guys. This will be the 5th episode of Chart Talks with Shake Self. We're going to run through the market outlook, member charts, best worst trades, ideas for the week ahead, as well as the book of the week. And Shake, we know you just settled in Denver. Heard you had a little funny travel story.
Oh God! So this whole process of moving has been so funny. I've been moving for like 4 months, and now I'm ready to make like the final part of my move. So we're flying out Monday night, and Nugget. Oh, speak of the devil. Oh, come here, baby. We're talking about you. Oh. So Nugget right here, Shorty, decides to get the poops Monday night or Monday. So we cancel our flight, move it to Tuesday. So Tuesday, as on Monday night, as we're doing a little goodbye dinner, Shorty's at home and she eats a bag of chocolate, and we got to go to ER. So you thought she was shitting Monday, you had to see her shitting Tuesday. And I had to go on the plane with her in a fucking in a diaper. It was the most embarrassing thing in my life.
Please put up a picture of her in the diaper.
Oh, okay. I'll find it for you.
All right. With that being said, I think we can
let the record show. This is part 2. We just filmed a fucking 45-minute show. We didn't hit record. So this is painful. This is a painful recording right now. We're going to run through this, baby. Let's go.
All right.
What do we got? All right, we'll do a little market outlook.
Yeah.
All right, so strong market. We hit SPX 3000. I think we're setting up for, I think next week is going to be a great week, or, we're setting up for big moves in that the IWM, the small caps are setting up. They've been lagging all year. They haven't really done much. And the SPX, SPY, S&P 500 is at all-time highs, but the moves have been concentrated between only a few companies like, Amazon, Facebook, all those companies. They account for so much of the market now because they're so much bigger than every other company. So when they're strong, they're going to bring the market up. So just because the market's at highs doesn't mean it's been the easiest trading environment, because, it's been muted to such a select few companies that have been really leading the charge. So I feel once we see these small caps break out, that'll be so much opportunity inside that.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Just, on the defense side, again, SPY, as long as we're above 290, it's all fair game. You got to stay in. Dow Jones, bullish engulfing on the week. Same thing, above 270, above 264, 26 S400. It's all fair game. You got to definitely stay in. And just like you said, mid cap and small caps definitely been lagging. They're setting up. MDY, mid caps through 360 look great, and then small caps above 157. Both look like spots that you can definitely pick up. Very tight risk stock and something that it's against broad market, not individual names. So given the fact that it's, tends to be slower time of the year, we've been getting endless gifts week after week, month after month. Where if you're in the market, you're making money. If you're waiting for the perfect time, you're just behind the 8 ball a little bit. So I think with that being said,
sorry to cut you off, but we've seen this. We've seen these grind up summer markets before. It's been an absolute grind up, and I see guys making the mistake of overwatching the indices and stuff like that, looking at 5-minute charts, saying the market's like selling off when really it just needs to digest a little bit. So in this environment, especially in a low volume summer trading environment, you don't want to be huge with tight day trading stops. You want to have ideas. You want to give them the right room. You want to buy against support type things, and you want to really let things play out. And that way you're going to catch the move. If you try to come in here day trading every day, you're just going to chop yourself up and make yourself crazy. So definitely want to stay a bit smaller in this environment and just give things the right room. Be really idea based.
No, I'm with that. With that being said, we'll jump into some of the member chart ideas of the week. We'll start off with Adam Chatty. I'm glad to hear that his pup's doing a little bit better after the little incident he had earlier this week. With that being said, his main idea was PFPT through 127 versus 122.
I like that chart. I like that weekly macro level a lot. I like how on the daily chart, it's gone sideways for the last 6 or 7 days, just setting up a nice little tight entry there. We often see guys that are they call out great macro level. For example, this Netflix this week is a great example where it's everyone is staring at this Netflix 380 level, 384, but it just grinded up to the level, so it didn't really give a great entry above that level. And so this PFPT going sideways before the level makes it a much more attractive setup.
With that. A few other ones, we had Clorox, CLX through 160 versus like kind of 152-ish.
You know, on a small time frame basis, it gave a great entry today, if you will. Got a nice little pop. That 160 is a really nice weekly level. I hope it sets up on the daily in front of that. Definitely looks good.
Nice. The last one he was looking at was Spot through this like 145 half, 155 area, recent IPO.
We've been watching this one too. A lot of people talking about this one. And similar with that proof point, PFPT, where it's I want to see that sideways in front of the level. I'd like to see a little more sideways in front of this 155. But I could see it going right away, like SQ this week, Square. I wanted to see it really set up, but it just absolutely took off. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see that at the same time. But I would like to see a little more consolidation on daily.
Of course. Next one we got David Kevlin, NSTG30 versus 28.
We were looking at this one Thursday, Friday this week. It's a healthcare name, medical equipment. And so these names are known to be pretty hot betas. They can fly. So this one's just so strong, so tight at highs, giving a great entry. Definitely like this one.
Nice. We got, what else? We got CTXS 101 feeler, 102 half entry.
The only thing I dislike about the chart is it's underneath the 200-day simple moving average. So that's going to be pretty heavy resistance. If it, you know, and that 102 is pretty much the spot where it is. If it goes sideways and gives a nice daily setup where it's looking to overtake that 200-day simple moving average, then it would be a much more attractive setup to me. But until then, it's kind of just, you know, eh.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then last one, we got DocuFifty-4.
I was just using DocuSign. We were looking for a move out of this DocuSign after earnings. They missed earnings and gapped down. We kind of disappointed. We thought it was going to, you know, be one of those recent IPOs, have great earnings type thing. But it got pretty much bought right back up after those earnings, and now it's setting up again. I like this area, this 54 area. Definitely giving us a trade through there.
Nice. We got E-Rich's idea PS 32 half.
I like this PS a lot. I was looking at this today. Definitely one of my favorites going into next week. It's just so tight below this macro level, this little downtrend macro level. Had the really tight inside day today. I think this, what do you say, 3250? I think that through that area, it's giving a really nice tight entry. I could see this, and this name's only about a year old trading, so one of those recent IPOs. So if you look on like a macro chart, it's kind of a cup and handle on the weekly chart. So it's like a bigger pattern, plus giving you a tight entry on the daily chart. So you got the larger time frame looks good, and then the smaller time frame looks good. I mean, that's exactly like what our whole thesis trading is.
Of course. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Jumping into the next one, we got Cameron SWK 148.
Deca?
Yeah, Black and Decker.
Yeah, that looks good. I mean, just setting up nice little level at that 148. Yeah, I mean, I like that chart. It's got a nice level. It's setting up in front of it. Looks good.
We got let's see, Matt G. Colgate 74. Oh yeah, he mentioned this earlier in the day and actually started to go. So I'm hoping he's in it with that.
We were talking about this morning. I think I saw him take this through 74. So I mean, this is just, you know, top right chart, tight daily flag, below resistance level. It's like an easy trade. You know, just buy that one.
Yeah. We got next we got Eddie O'Donnelly ZBH 122.
Oh God! And we had such a good talk on this one in that other recording. So pretty much, this ZBH has a monster level on the weekly at 130. We're definitely looking for this one through that area. Right now, 122. Not sure if it's completely set up there, but we want to keep this name on our radar for that 130. But if it goes sideways a bit, that 122 looks very viable in time. Just give us a little bit more sideways. But yeah, looks pretty good. Definitely want to be involved when that 130 level is happening. So got to keep this name on the radar.
Yeah, 100%. We can see when you post like the weekly chart, we'll see going back to like March 2015, like 122 has been that resistance, and then, like you said, that 130, 132 has been that real, you know, major macro resistance as well. So it's definitely plenty of entry points, you know, to kind of get in it. Definitely looks good. His other one is AMD, which is a name I've hated for years.
Oh yeah.
I always would say, like, when it's above $30 a share, like, it's a different story. Like, I have no problem buying it. And he DM'd me earlier this week about it. He had like a 32.05 buy stop, and it was like things up $4 in a week. Like, it's too extended, but like we've been talking about, if it starts to consolidate, it starts to get tight, pulls back in under 30 and takes that next leg back to 34, like, I will 100% be buying AMD. Which
now I know that one's failing. Can't buy it at 20, but one at 34. That's a failed trade.
Yeah. God. Let's see. We got Chris Mora, CHNG 1530.
Yeah, I love this one. Recent IPO, just hourly flag right below that 1530. Those IPO highs. These are like a bread and butter setup for us. I love this chart. Love this setup. Looks great. A little bit thinner name, but so often in these IPOs we see that because we're not. It's not a secret. Buying through that IPO, that first IPO high, is a move. So you see so many buy stops go up. So a name like this that does maybe only 300K volume a day, you'll see once it breaks that 1530 area, a million shares with a buy stops trigger because everyone's looking for the same shit. So even though it's a thinner name, I still really like it to at 1530.
Nice. And then wrapping up, we got Joda Frank 5131. FIVE.
We've been looking at this back and forth for the past like 6 weeks. It's at this really tight inflection point. Not really tight, but between like 118 and 132, 136 area. It's just been breaking down and then getting bought up at support, just doing this mini range. And whichever direction it chooses, if it wants to break that 131 higher or if it wants to break that 117 lower, I think a big move is in the cards. So right now, the strong market, setting up for that 131, I still like this long. Looks pretty good.
I like that one too. That's even one for me where it's like I'm more of like a turtle of a trader. You're more of like the faster area. Like me, it's like 136. Like that's the spot where I put the buy stuff in. I'll have to watch it. If it goes in a month or two, I'll get in. If not, move on to the next. So we definitely wrapped up all the member ideas. We want to jump into worst trade, best trade of the week.
So I was moving this week, so I wasn't super active. So I'd say my worst trade of the past 2 weeks is this Pegasus, PEGA. Now, the chart is great, but the last chart talk we had, I was talking about how I was in love with the chart. It was my favorite chart on the market. I had to be involved. And then we come into that Monday, and we get a gap up, and that one gapped up too much for me. So I took my eye off it type of thing because I knew I wouldn't be able to get like super max heavy in it. But what I should have done is kept my eye on it and bought a little bit against the support level just to be involved. Maybe it gives me another setup. Maybe it goes without me. But either way, I'm involved. Now I see this name at highs, and I'm sick about it because I love the chart. I called it out. I was watching the name, and then I didn't make any money, and it went. So that missed trade for me has just been the worst thing I've done the past 2 weeks. And my best trade didn't even trigger yet. I'm just building a position in this QLYS. What I did really well this week was just kind of buy against support. I bought Wednesday. I bought what is that? I bought this 88 Wednesday against 86.50, and it didn't go yet. 90 is like the first trigger, and it's got this huge level above at 96. So, and then I was trading against 86.50, and then it came down Thursday and Friday and just held 87.50, 88 area, and I picked up a chunk of stock against that 86.50. So now we're all looking to buy 90 next week. Now I have a huge position from like 88.15 or so. And if it triggers that 90, I'll be able to move my stop up to 87.50 where that recent support is, and I can get massive because then my average price will be 89.50 or so. Massive amount of stock, $2 risk, and now I'm so prepared if it wants to go after that 96 level, and then if it breaks that, who knows what could happen. So I just set myself up building a really big position in this name. That's really the best thing I've done this week.
Similar, we talked about like Valentino like 2 weeks ago when he bought that Sky W above 357 versus 56, where we were all watching 62, and he had such good stock where if it breaks 62, it's awesome. If it pushes through and reverses, he can take some off and get out, and it's like such an easy trade versus trying to be perfect through 96 or even like DXT, like through 155. It's just like getting good stock, and you can just hold for like that move if it's ready, and if not, you'll still make money anyways. 2 trades of mine that were not good, pretty much both the same thing. We had GWPH, is a name we've been watching pretty much all year, that 175, 180 level. bought 175, got to the beginning of June, and then they added through 180, and I just had my stop too tight, like what you talked about earlier in the video.
Ticked in. You got ticked into that 180.
So,
Broke it by like 25 cents.
yep, ticked in.
That's the
And just
worst.
like you said, like being too perfect with the stop, especially in this environment, just not really what we're here for. And this was a perfect example. Like it pushes me out yesterday. The trade really didn't fail. It's just kind of chopping around. Like there was really no reason to lose money in that. And the same thing happened in Disney. We were watching that 142.5 area. And I picked some up and pretty much had to stop. That one day where it gapped down and filled, like pretty much got hit in the low. But knowing this chart, knowing it's top right, I knew I had to buy back, and it's working now. But I know that given this trade, I got to give it to 139.75. A little lesson learned. And then the two good trades, I've been sitting in this MU, since the break on 30 through 36, and just kind of haven't been too crazy with it, just letting it work and grind higher. And then same with this WDC, not really our bread and butter being top right, but it was a support buyback. It was whole at 36, bought on the way up through 40. Now it's at 55. It's up like 36%. I literally bought it once, moved my stop maybe twice. And now if it wants to continue higher, I'm in it. If it wants to roll back over into this range, I'm out below 52. So it's, two trades that pushed me out for some small losses. Then I got two names I've been kind of sitting in that are, helping, keep them green on the screen. So yeah, and then you want to jump into some of your top ideas for the week?
So as I mentioned, that QLYS is probably my favorite setup next week. This or the myocardia MYOK. Chris called this one out a couple days ago. This MYOK is just absolutely coming out of a massive base, really, really tight consolidated moving averages. These have become my favorite setups in the last few years because if you catch these right, they just explode. So I love this one. I love the QLYS. And then this AMED. Oh, I forgot this on the last one too. This AMED was actually my worst trade last week, and it's one of my favorite charts next week. It was trade of the week last week, and I said the trigger was 123. It ticked us all in, and it broke all the highs of the flag. And it's one of those thinner names, so it's like you kind of got to be, a little more price focused because if you just set a buy stop 124, you get 124.50. Your risk rewards thrown off a little bit. So, but I did get ticked into this one and hit out right at lows. So those are the worst losses to me, where you just buy the resistance, sell support. It's like, what am I doing here? But now the way it's set up, it just a week consolidating right in front of that level looks absolutely amazing next week. So that one I think is pretty ready. I think I'm just gonna focus on those three mainly. I mean, there's a lot of good charts out there, but I don't want to get caught in the trap of just shotgun shooting every setup out there because everything looks good and the market looks good. That's how you really frustrate yourself in this environment. So I'm really going to try to focus on a few names next week and be pretty large if they're ready.
Nice. A few that I'm looking at, they're pretty much all the same chart setup. We got KMB through 139. If we look back to 2016, late 2015, we can see that's third time it's a charm through that. DFS, Discover Financial, 82. Same thing, third time's a charm. Been setting up since 2018. OKE, 71, 72. Same thing. Been setting up for almost 5 years. Pretty much all the same charts, top right. At least third or fourth attempt. And then lastly is Monster, a name that you've been calling out for a while. And same thing. It's been setting up under 66 for some time, since 2018. So all.
We talked about this Monster a couple weeks ago, I believe. Someone wanted it then, and we were like, it looks okay. Like the weekly level is good, but it just doesn't look ready on the daily. And now we got that daily consolidation where it looks more ready. Now we're getting a bit more time frame continuity where it gives a good entry through that 66 instead of just like you have to give it so much room risk wise if you buy at 66 the first time. But now it's got that consolidation in front. I like it a lot better. Good call.
This is actually one of the top performing stocks of the decade. Like this, Amazon, Domino's Pizza. I can't pronounce it. And like names that, other than Amazon, like you would never think of. And it's like this name's up almost like 2,000% in the last 10 years. And it's like, names you never think of. Everyone thinks like Apple's the best name, and it's like, you make probably 10x the
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, I think we covered all the ideas. We can jump into if you want to jump into your book of the week.
So not a trading book at all. Freeway Rick Ross, the Untold Story. So the Rick Ross, the rapper, he stole this guy's whole life story pretty much. But this guy, he came up in the 80s He was during the crack era. He was selling crack. That's not the message I'm trying to convey here. Absolute beast businessman, building an organization. He controlled something like 80% of the cocaine distribution in the United States, was making over $1 million a day. Crazy stats. But what he did really well was build a great organization from the ground up. He came from absolutely nothing and really had to, ground up, build his hierarchy of, lieutenants and distributors and all this stuff. And there's so many business lessons in these types of books. It's so funny. So I highly recommend this. And it's just a great read. Untold Story of Freeway Rick Ross. Highly recommend.
Nice. I actually just finished your recommendation, Pitbull. And that was like, out of all the trading books, like, and as much as I disliked them more than how to make money swinging stocks, like that was such a good trading book that actually was a story. It had like relevant like lessons to like someone who's like a new trader, talking about how useless demo trading is, the emotional aspect, it was just such a good, easy read with like real nuggets of information that definitely were valuable.
About that book. So you mentioned How to Make Money in Stocks, and that's one of the more theoretical, technical books that we love. I love that book, but the thing that can't come across is that everything's perfect in those setups. Everything is just like, oh, A plus B equals C. That's so simple. Like, oh, I'll only do that chart. Then you start trading and nothing's that simple. So you see the shit that Marty Schwartz went through in Pitbull, where he was a real pit trader. And it was great because he showed the emotional aspect and, all the outside factors affecting him. And you really got the real story of a real trader. And that was my favorite part about that book for sure.
Yeah, the other one, we got Rejection Proof. Again, nothing related to trading. Pretty much this guy, quits his full-time job and just goes on this journey of just pretty much intentionally trying to get rejected from people because he was just fearful of this his whole life. And one of the notable stories where he blows up is he goes to like a Krispy Kreme donut shop in California, and he asked the lady to make him the donuts in the Olympic ring because it was during the Olympics. And he's expecting her to say flat out, no, like get out of here, like you're nuts. And she's like, give me 5-10 minutes and come back and I'll have it ready for you. He's like, really? And she makes the donuts for him. She doesn't charge him anything for it. And he like records and like puts up on his YouTube page and it blows up and like gets all these speaking engagements, but he keeps going on and like getting rejected throughout the next year of his life. And he's learned so much from it. And I think it's very related to like being a trader, where it's like every day you're getting rejected from the market. Maybe it's you or I telling the person that their idea isn't the best and then kind of bruise your ego. But in this guy's case, he just kept kind of rolling through it and just got that much more confident in his ability. And, I've been trying to do that as well. Like we went to that dog bar, one of your last weeks in the city, and, Nugget pisses in the front of the bar. And I like asked guy for a dog bowl and he's like so mad. And he said no. And I was like, I kind of wanted him to say no, just to kind of just start like doing what the book said. So it's just kind of fun. You can just ask people that things you don't expect them to say yes to, but what's the worst that can happen? They say no. It's like, who cares?
Your life is getting rejected. So if you can condition yourself to not fear it, you're a different animal than everyone else. Yeah.
So definitely a good book. Very easy. I think I read this in like 2 days. It's super short, very easy read. So with that being said, I think this is our second. We'll see you next.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Just make sure you hit a little thumbs up on the.
Oh, that thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
That shit. The shit.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Howdy. Later.
All right. Now let's end this the right way.
Please, God.